The cars industry, why it's falling down. Rev your engines, folks, because we're about to take a thrilling ride through the twists and turns of the car industry. From soaring prices to electric cars, this industry is amid a major shakeup, and it's affecting everyone from the car manufacturers to the everyday driver. Even the middle class is getting priced out of the market altogether. It's a car buyer's nightmare, and it's enough to send shivers down your spine. So get ready for a wild ride as we explore the highs and lows of the car industry. Buckle up, folks, because the dream of a shiny new car in your driveway is now further away than ever before. That's right. For the average American family, it's become a distant dream like winning the lottery or finding a unicorn in your backyard. According to the Kelley Blue Book, the average monthly payment for a new car has hit a jaw-dropping record of $777. That's enough to make your eyes bulge out of your head like a cartoon character. And don't even think about used cars, because those prices have gone up too, with an average monthly payment of $544. It's like the car market has gone bonkers. And it's not just America feeling the sticker shock. Europe is getting in on the action too. Prices there are getting dangerously close to record highs. Even Japan, a country known for its love of efficiency, had to deal with soaring used car prices last year. And in China, the push for electric vehicles means that some cities will have to shell out even more cash for their wheels. Looks like the only thing shining brighter than a new car these days is the golden goose. Take a look at any middle-class neighborhood. You'll see a plethora of fancy, expensive cars lining up, from fully loaded pickup trucks that cost a whopping $60,000 to top-tier SUVs that scream, "I'm fancy." But how can working-class families afford these lavish rides? The short answer is they can't. According to the Wall Street Journal, a mere 18% of US households can afford to buy a brand new car. That's right. The dream of cruising down the highway in a shiny new car is becoming more of a mirage than a reality. So what's the solution? Well, it seems like many Americans are opting for extended 7-year loans to make their car dreams come true. But that's putting them in a financial bind as they're stuck paying off their cars for years and years. And don't even get us started on the cost of these cars. Since 2019, about a third of new car loans have been longer than 6 years. Back in 2009, that number was only 10%. The reason for this discrepancy is simple. The cost of a new car has skyrocketed while wages have barely budged. While the average household can afford a car that costs a little over $18,000, the average cost of a new car has zoomed up to a mind-boggling $32,119. Why, you ask? Well, it's all thanks to fancy high-tech features like multimedia centers and advanced driver assistance systems. Buyers across the nation are taking out longer and longer loans to make their car dreams come true. The average term is now a whopping 69 months long, breaking records left and right. And get this, since 2022 till now, 1.5% of car loans were stretched out to a mind-boggling 85 months or longer. But all of these long-term loans come with a hefty price tag, substantial debt. While they might make new cars seem affordable to middle-class families, they're just kicking the can down the road. At the end of 2022, US consumers had a whopping estimated $1.3 trillion in car debt. That's more than double the amount of auto loan debt reported by the Federal Reserve back in 2009. And the problems don't stop there. All too often, buyers who take out long-term loans are still paying for their old car when they trade in. And don't even get us started on the 1/3 of buyers who roll debt from their old car into their new one. Meanwhile, those who keep their vehicles are often stuck with the monthly payments, plus costly repairs, as the car begins to age and wear out. That's why financial advisors like Susie Orman are recommending that consumers stick with a new or used car they can pay off in 3 years or less. Because let's face it, folks, we all need to be realistic and live within our means. So the next time you're dreaming of a fancy new ride, remember, sometimes it's better to stick with the old faithful until you can truly afford to upgrade. However, it looks like the pandemic and the Russian and Ukraine war isn't hitting everyone equally. While many of us are still trying to navigate through the financial struggles brought on by these two events, the car industry is doing just fine. They're making more money than ever before. As the chip shortage is starting to ease, Ford, General Motors, and their overseas rivals are raking in the big bucks. But don't be too quick to celebrate their success, because there's a dark side to this story. The rich are getting richer, and the rest of us are being left in the dust. While the wealthy are splurging on gas-guzzling trucks, SUVs, and large sedans, the average American is struggling to afford a new car at all. With the average new car payment hitting a whopping $50,000, It's no surprise that more people are looking for used cars that are smaller, more fuel efficient, and don't break the bank. It used to be that the average American could afford a new car payment of around $400 a month, but now that seems like a distant memory. Even though car prices have gone down a bit, it's still not enough for most of us to feel comfortable buying a new car. So, while the car industry is cruising along, the rest of us are stuck trying to navigate the choppy waters of a shrunken used car market and skyrocketing gas prices. It's a good thing we're a resilient bunch, because we're going to need it to get through this one. Switching over to Natalia Ponce de Leon from North Palm Beach, Florida. This lady knows how to make a deal. She leased a brand spanking new Toyota Tacoma pickup for her custom drapery business for 4 years. But when it was time to replace it, Natalia wasn't interested in the flashy, shiny new models that the car dealerships were peddling. Nope, not this savvy businesswoman. Instead, Natalia went down to Earl Stewart Toyota and picked out a sweet ride, a 9-year-old Toyota RAV4 SUV with a mere 14,000 miles on the clock. And get this, it only set her back $23,000, including paying off the remainder of her lease. Now, some might think she's crazy for shelling out that kind of dough on an old car, but Natalia is over the moon with her purchase. She's paying just under $400 a month for 6 years, and the RAV4 is perfect for her needs. It's easier to drive than her old pickup, and she can fit a 6-foot ladder in the back with no problem. Now, you might be thinking that Natalia is the exception to the rule. After all, nearly 79% of new cars purchased from 2022 to 2023 were trucks and SUVs, up from just 52% a decade ago. And with the average price of a new car jumping 22% to over $46,000 since the Russia and Ukraine war, it's no wonder that most of us can't afford to buy one. But don't worry, folks. The wealthy elite are still buying new cars like they're going out of style. According to Jeff Schuster, president of global forecasting for LMC Automotive, those who can afford it are still buying what they want. So if you're one of those lucky few, go ahead and treat yourself to that shiny new ride. Well. It looks like the car market is experiencing some pretty wild swings. Ivan Drury, a senior manager at Edmunds.com, is gobsmacked by a number of affluent buyers shelling out big bucks for their new vehicles. People are dropping sticker prices like they're hot, and Drury is scratching his head in disbelief. He can't remember a time when so many people were willing to spend so much money on cars. It's like they're all part of some secret society of car enthusiasts, and the only way to get in is to buy a fancy new ride. Sheesh, talk about keeping up with the Joneses. But while the rich are getting richer, or at least buying more expensive cars, the rest of us are getting squeezed. Modest buyers are desperately searching for fuel-efficient used cars, and it's driving up prices like nobody's business. At dealer auctions, the average price of a 2 to 8-year-old compact car has risen 1.1% in the past 3 weeks, to an average of $12,560. That's a yearly rate of nearly 20%, which is enough to make your head spin. Meanwhile, the price of older cars is going up even faster, according to data experts at Black Book. In a twist that nobody saw coming, the demand for smaller, more efficient, and older vehicles is causing dealers to shift their focus away from big, shiny SUVs. The economic reality of the situation is hitting home for most Americans, who just don't have as much cash to throw around these days. Sure, the job market is humming along, and some folks are getting pay raises, but the rising tide of inflation has canceled out most of those gains. In short, it's a tough time to be a car buyer, unless you've got money to burn. For the rest of us, it's time to buckle down and get creative. So it seems that the car industry is hitting some roadblocks and taking a bit of a dip. But fear not, car enthusiasts, for the future is looking bright. As technology continues to advance and the world becomes increasingly environmentally conscious, the industry is sure to rebound in exciting ways. Who knows? We may soon be cruising around in self-driving electric cars that can fly and make us breakfast. Okay, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but you get the point. The possibilities are endless, and the car industry will undoubtedly rise to the challenge. Hit the notification bell and subscribe for more rides.